So thank y'all, boys and girls, for tuning in. At the 3 minute mark, we're gonna get this started. Chime in if you're catching this live. I'll be right back. Let me grab my headphones. How's it going, everybody? How's it going there, Angeline? I can't say your name, but you know who I'm talking to. Let me turn my headphones on here for a second. Put them on. I'll be getting started here shortly. You guys and girls can see in the title what we'll be discussing. So, 1 second. All right. He said a fake. Ooh, let me see here. Yeah, we're gonna get it started here for a second. Y'all come on in. Who's that? Luminary Wind says Federal Reserve is pumping the fake stock market. We're gonna get into that. Interest rates, Federal Reserve. We're gonna get into that too. We're gonna get into a lot of things, Right now, I'm giving everybody a chance to come in. Let me grab the charger for my phone here. Where did my phone go? Oh, there you go. Let me share this out of my social media. Is it good to buy stocks before they crash? Ooh, no. If you're in it for the long term, you don't care. But if you're a short term person, of course not. That's like buying a house for $400,000 right before the housing market crash and the housing market go down to $200. All right. So y'all share this out, people that's catching this live. We're gonna get it started here in a minute. Join us. I'm just sharing this out for people that are coming in. Alrighty. And y'all follow me on my new Facebook page, Prince Dykes NBA. Only reason I put the NBA there because they wouldn't let me they wouldn't just let me use my regular name for a public figure page. That's kind of crazy. Tune in. Catch us live. Alrighty. I'm just sharing this out on my Facebook pages. And of course, everything wants to play when I want to tune in. So when y'all coming in, happy holidays to everybody that's catching this live. Share this out. Hit the thumbs up button as you come in because we're going to have a nice little conversation tonight. Happy holidays out there to everybody. Tune in. I'm just sharing this out on my Facebook. I might put it on my Instagram too. Let me put it on my Instagram. So if you're not following me on Facebook, please jump on over and check us out on Facebook as well. And we're going to get into it tonight. All righty. Put this on my... No. I don't even tweet. How many people out there tweet? I tweet a little bit. I don't tweet that much. 1 second here. What's okay? Let me do a quick live on my Instagram. Nope. Beef. What's going on? Beef. I need to get back to you too. I know you asked me a couple questions and then I haven't been able to get back to you with the holidays running around. But definitely get back to you. No, let's not do it this way. I got too many pages, y'all. I need to get like 2 pages. So I need to get somebody to handle all this crap. Here we go. We're live on Facebook. Head on over to the Investor Show on Facebook. Hit the link and check us out. Catch us live. Well, oh yeah, we got to get started. We getting behind. We getting behind big time. All right. All right, that's enough. Everybody has to catch the playback. All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, you're now tuned into the Investor Show. As always, this is your gracious host, the Prince of Investing, Prince Dykes, coming to you guys and girls live with a beautiful state of, from the beautiful state of Denver, Colorado. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. And also, don't forget to follow us on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, to check out some of the cool stuff we're doing around the globe. But as always, I don't have a lot of time. I never know you guys and girls don't have a lot of time, so we're going to get straight into it. All right. So everybody in here, just go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you are catching this live. And we're going to jump straight into it. So we're going to start talking about, is your portfolio ready for the next stock market crash? Now, as we're out there, we always see people say, they always talk about the market's going to crash, the market's going to crash, the market's going to crash, right? So that's fine. Market, that's like saying, hey, man, it's going to snow in Denver. We all know that. Or it's going to rain in Washington State. We know that. Or it's going to be a hurricane and whatever the case may be. But that's okay. The question is, that's not the question. The question is when. Nobody knows when. Since we know what happened, it's just like, why do I have a roof over my head? Why do people have roofs over their head in Hawaii? People have roofs over their head in Hawaii because it doesn't rain every day, but guess what? Occasionally it does rain, right? So this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about getting your portfolio ready for the next market crash. What can you do to prevent your portfolio from taking a major hit during the next market crash? As we live into a time right now where we hear everybody's talking about how great their stocks are doing, stock market's at an all-time high. Been a great year. 2019 was a great year. Y'all who here remembers Uncle James when Uncle James came on and he predicted 2019 was going to be a great year for stocks. We did a whole episode probably back in January, February, March, and he said, man, this is going to be a bull market year, and he called it. This was at a time when everybody was like, oh no, the market's going to crash, it's going to crash, Trump is going to crash. And he surprised me. He shocked me. So I got to take my hat off to Uncle James. I'm bringing him back in January so he can say, I told you so, but he was right. Right. So that's the whole thing with everybody talking about. I'm going to get to some of the chats when we get to the chat a little bit, but I want to kind of talk a little bit before. So y'all hit the thumbs up button as you're coming in, hit that share button, tell everybody, you know what I mean? Tell everybody about what's going on. Anyway, we're going to get straight into it. Now, one of the things we're going to talk about is your portfolio ready? Right now, when do you know what? This would happen. This would really kicked it off. If you guys haven't seen this documentary called Panic, the 2008 market crash, great documentary. I watched a documentary called Panic, the untold story of the financial crisis of 2008. What made it such a great documentary? Because it pulled everybody. It had Obama, it had Bush, the Fed chair, all the CEOs of JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley. I don't think Bank of America was in, but all the top bank CEOs were there. All the Federal Reserve was there, the Secretary of Treasury, everybody that had a hands on that 2008 market crash, financial crisis, they were in there. Warren Buffett was in there. Everybody was in there. Anybody that was a top dog in the world of finances pretty much was in that documentary, right? And it pretty much detailed how everything happened. So it was a very great documentary, but it did seem a little PR push that it was trying to justify the decisions they made. But I studied that. I read a book called The Stock Market Crash of 2019, or 2029, right? That was the worst. Black Tuesday was the worst stock market crash America has ever seen. 87 crash, all the crashes from the first one with a major one in 29 all the way to 2008. So I was studying all these crashes. I'm weird like that. Everybody was in the holiday season. Everybody's opening up prizes and stuff. But here I am studying market crashes, right? And just because it's like they always say in finance, past performance is not a great indicator of future performance, right? Which is true. But I love if you don't know your history, you don't know where you're going. If you didn't pay attention to that, right now, who's heard of the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission, right? All these regulations that we have, all these regulations in the financial industry, where do they come from? If you study your history, it will tell you that most of that stuff is written in blood. What I mean by written in blood is meaning that we experience something. That's why we don't allow it to happen. That's why we don't have certain things happen. In the 20s and the roaring 20s, man, it was so much corruption on Wall Street, which it still is. Anywhere you put money, there will be some form of corruption. You take $1,000, go outside and just throw it on the ground. Somebody will do something corrupt with it. That's just what it is, right? So as y'all come in, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, share this out to your friends, all of the great stuff. If you're catching this live, even if you're not catching this live, and also catch us on our podcast. We just got picked up by Pandora, so we on Pandora, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere you pretty much can catch podcasts. So I need you to go in there while everybody's over at your house for the holidays. You need to go take their phone, go on their phone, go on iTunes, Google Play, all of the good stuff, and make them subscribe to the Investor Show. Tell them thank you, Merry Christmas. But anyway, when I looked at the roaring 20s, I seen people was buying stocks. It just really, all the crashes pretty much came to a point of euphoria. One word, euphoria. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm from Georgia. Please forgive me if I'm a little slow if I said it wrong. But it's euphoria. It's just that when people are buying something, they get the sense of, oh, it just goes up. When it hits that point of, man, it just keeps going up. Oh, it never goes down. The housing market, housing prices never go down. Oh, the stock market, man, for the last 10 years, it's been a for sure win. So everybody's doing it. When that sense of euphoria comes, that's when every time everybody gets wiped out. And every single time you see a market crash, you all kind of got that DNA of going up, 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 up. Everything gets overpriced. Euphoria sets in. And it's one trigger. The thing that makes every market crash, the one thing that makes it go up is euphoria. When everybody just, it's going to go up, it's going to go up. And the one thing that makes it crash is somebody loses faith and confidence. Y'all write that down. Somebody lose faith and confidence in anything. It just takes for one person to start selling. Like, man, I don't know, man. And it takes big fund managers. Right now, you may have your little small portfolio. You may have your wife or your son's portfolio, but there are fund managers with hundreds of billions of dollars sitting up on Wall Street around the world that are managing funds. And all it takes is for them to get scared at one time, right? If they get scared and they hit the sell button, like you hit the sell button, you may sell 1 share of Google, 2 shares, 3 shares of Google. These guys are moving millions at a time, sometimes hundreds of millions at a time. 100 million of Apple just fly off the market. Somebody sells it. That's a lot of times it creates panic, loss of confidence. That's every time that makes the market crash. Loss of confidence. Somebody just said, oh, man, I think this is going to crash. Loss of confidence is what makes the market crash every single time. Somebody somewhere gets scared and says, 2008, oh my God, Lehman Brothers is talking about going out of business. AIG, Bear Stearns, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch. Ooh, these companies are going out of business. So guess what happens in 2000 and 2008 and 2019? What happened was we didn't have an FDIC. Hit the thumbs up button if you know what FDIC is. Who knows what the FDIC is? Somebody comment to what the FDIC is, right? What is the FDIC? What is the SEC, right? When it comes down to finances, right? And the reason why this is going to be so important, what I'm going to get into, is this is why this was created. All it takes is for let you be driving to work one day, minding your business, having a uh, minding your business, driving to work one day, and you drive by Bank of America and it says closed, right? Closed. We ain't got no money, and you see everybody standing in that line wondering where their money. What's the first thing the logical mind thinks? If Bank of America closed, what about my clothes? Is my bank closed too? Well, is my bank closed? So now you go to your bank, even though there's nothing wrong, and then you go to your bank, you see a big long line, and it's of everybody's trying to get their money. Guess what you automatically going to do? Well, what's going on? You're going to try to go get your money. So that's what happened. Loss of confidence. I mean, let me get my money. I don't want to make sure I lose my money. So, okay, Max B just commented. He said, backing our money, FDIC backs our money. Did you know the FDIC was created because of the 1929 stock market crash? When the market crashed in 1929, there was no FDIC. Right now, I think it's we're guaranteed up to $400,000 per account. When you got a banking institution or a financial institution, it says your money is backed by the FDIC, meaning that if this bank go bankrupt, something happened to it, you're guaranteed to have your money there. They didn't have that in the 20s, right? So people who had $1,000 in the bank, and next thing you know, they see their bank closed, they try to go get their money. Their bank just like, man, I'm sorry, we don't have it. And a person could just literally lose their money in the 20s and in the turn of the 1900s. That's why we had the FDIC. That's why it's important to study your history to know what you're going on. Now, Max B said the SEC makes sure everyone is following the rules. Where was the SEC? When and why was the SEC created? Ask yourself that. It was created because of when we came out of the Great Depression. This was a time back in the day. Imagine buying McDonald's stock and imagine, okay, let's say for a prime example, right? Everybody's tuned in right now. You send me money to invest into the investor show, right? And I'm wrong on that. 250,000. I said 400,000, right? 250,000 with the FDIC insures. So every account you have, $250,000. That's what the FDIC insures. The reason why that came about, because when the banks is to build confidence in the people to put their money back in the bank. Because if people don't put their money in the bank and people start pulling their money out, if everybody in the world today went to the banks don't have our money. Let's be honest. Banks don't have the cash, right? If everybody just stormed Bank of America, Wachovia, whoever the case may be, and Wells Fargo and say, hey, man, let me get all my money in savings or checking. It's going to be a matter of time for the bank is going to have to shut down. So what keeps people confident in our market? That's why the FDIC was created. The SEC didn't exist. Prime example, y'all send me money to invest into the investor show. I got your money. You don't know how much money I'm making. You don't know what dividends are supposed to be. You don't know nothing about nothing. The reason why you don't know anything, because I don't have to send out reports. So the SEC makes sure if you take money from the public, you must send out quarterly reports. You must send out annual reports. You must send out 10 kilos, 10 Qs, 8 Ks. List just goes on of all these forms. If you have if the CEO steps down, if somebody gets fired, somebody gets replaced, you must report this to shareholders. That didn't exist back in the day. You would just invest your money, then hope somebody just did right. That sounds crazy now, but that's how the markets were going on back then. But I don't want to jump off. Max B says, does that hurt our debt if the government has to pay us back? Yeah, of course. But let's be honest, man. The Fed over there, they got a print machine. That's what they're doing. That's what they did in 08 too, right? They makes the taxpayers money. But what it does is the FDIC, they're insuring our money. They make the banks pay the insurance on it. And then they're regulating the bank so much that they wouldn't get in a position of where people are just losing their money, right? So all banks are regulated. If a bank, they have ratios. You only can lend out so much money. You got to have so much cash before you can lend out this. It's so regulated that they're saying, hey, we have this so regulated that that's the whole game of insurance. The only reason why people sell you insurance is because they're betting you're not going to need it, and you're betting you are going to need it. The FDIC is guaranteeing everybody because they're saying, hey, Max B, you're not going to need this insurance, but we're going to make a premium off of it, right? Yeah, that's true. The dollar can go down. Yeah, she said printing endless supply, right? It's true. I told you guys the money, the US dollar is backed by the military. That's what it's backed by. That's what keeps our confidence in the dollar. The military has United States has the strongest military. Shout out to all my veterans and active duty people. The United States has the strongest military in the world. So if somebody wanted to do something crazy or go against something or try to hurt us or something like that, yeah, we ready for that, right? Somebody coming in and be like, hey, we're not taking your dollars. We're only going to take your coal. We're going to take your gold, right? And you're right. Yes, if we print too much money, that's called hyperinflation. So that's why you can't just, oh, yes, print a whole bunch of money. That's how they will wreck economies. Look back in World War II, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not a historian, especially on wars, but look back in World War II, how they would, there you go, retired army in the house. Shouts out to all my veterans that's checking this out. But what militaries would do, or what not militaries, but what governments would do when they would go to try to wreck another country's economy, you know what they would do? They would take a bunch of counterfeit money, or they'll take a bunch of their real money and just dump it on the shores, right? That's like imagine if let's say $100 billion just was dumped on the shores of, let's say $1 trillion. Just say something crazy. $1 trillion was just dumped on the shores of California, right? I mean, pure cash, $1 trillion. Let's say China did it. China just took $1 trillion, dumped it onto our shores. What would that do to our economy? And the only way you can get people to listen to you is if you can affect their money or you can make them hurt. That's it. That's the quickest way. That's why every punishment comes with they're going to affect your money or they're going to do something physical to you. That's it. Hey, the cops pull out a gun on you. You don't want to get shot, so you listen to them. I don't want to go speeding and get a ticket. Why don't I want a ticket? Because I don't want to pay that $100, $200, $300 or whatever. I don't run that red light, even though I'm busy and I really need to get through that light and I know I can make that light. I don't do it because I'm afraid of getting a ticket, right? I won't go down there to the local bank and just go take the money out and go spend it because you're going to go to jail. So every punishment, physical and financial, that's all that matters to people. That's the quickest way you get anybody to respect you, physically and financially, right? Let's say you do something to piss somebody off and they know you can't touch them physically, you can't touch them financially, you're just talking. Once you can touch somebody physically and financially, everything changes, right? So now we're going to talk about, since we kind of get, I don't want to run down a rabbit hole. Now we want to talk about, is your portfolio prepared? And if your portfolio is not prepared, how can you prepare your portfolio for the next down market? And y'all feel free to have an open conversation. Let me know what you think you got to do to back your portfolio. Hit that thumbs up button as you come in. Hit that share button. Appreciate everybody that's catching this live. Now, number one, recession-proof stocks. What are recession-proof stocks? What are recession-proof stocks? Meaning that even in a recession, stocks that will do well and might actually rise, right? We're going to get to metals. I put metals in the commodity category. We're talking about what are some stocks right now? What are some blue chip companies out there right now that can, people woke one, that's a good one. Gas companies, that's one. That's one. Gas companies, definitely one, right? What would people do regardless? MasterCard and Visa, that could be suspect. The reason why MasterCard and Visa could be suspect is the reason why MasterCard and Visa could be suspect because what do people do when they lose their job? What is the first thing they cut off? Usually people that lose their job or their money get tight, they slow down on consumer spending, right? Like I won't be out here, most majority responsible individuals. If I had no income, I just won't be running up a credit card, running up a credit card, running up a credit card. No, I wouldn't. Right? Why I wouldn't be running up a credit card? Because I don't know where my next meal is coming from. I would probably slow down, only buy things that I need. Like I've never been a big spender, but I've been a free spender. Right? meaning that I freely do this and do that, which I've tightened up. I've got better with over time. But no, MasterCard, Visa card, that's consumer debt. People usually spend less when we get into a recession. They usually cut back on, they don't go to the movies, they may not go to comedy shows, they may not go to outings and different, they may not eat out as much because they don't know where their next dollar is coming from. So usually the first thing people do is slow down. So that's why I wouldn't look at consumer spirit. Aaron that said that. I was, because people will slow down on that immediately, right? And then guess what people start to do when their money get tight? They stop paying their bills. They slow down and stop paying their bills, right? So here you go, MasterCard and Visa, right? When you put Max B, what is that? Ultra? I don't know. I don't know what that is. You gotta bring me up on that. Ghost Hunter said food. That's definitely right. People will buy food. The economy will fall when it splits, and it has financial economy, which is fake, real economy, which is falling. I get what she's saying. You know, she's talking about the financial economy versus the real economy, right? You're watching the news and they're telling you you're in a great economy, but the real economy, you're putting in for jobs and things like, oh, yeah, that's right. Cigarette companies, Marlboro, yes. Those are called, crap, what is that? Negative growth stocks, I think it's called. Meaning that regardless, people will smoke cigarettes. When the economy is booming, you don't see any spikes in the company. The company doesn't grow big when the economy is doing well, and it doesn't grow bad when the economy is doing well, right? So the thing about it is, people are like, man, people tell me the economy is so strong and well, but here I am making $10 an hour, $11 an hour, $12 an hour. That doesn't feel strong, like a strong economy to me. When the economy, it don't, I go to Chile, somebody's serving me and they have a master's degree, right? And they're saying that, well, I'm here because I got to work 2 or 3 jobs. You don't feel it. The people who are at the bottom in the middle don't feel the economy really, what you call it. So the next one, yes, people will buy food. So companies that will do well historically are things like Colgate. People will brush their teeth regardless in a booming economy or a bust economy. At least I hope. People will buy toothpaste. People will buy toiletries, soap, things like that or whatnot. Johnson and Johnson products. Colgate is another company that usually people do well in a down economy. Walmart, right? And the reason why I say these particular companies, and the reason why I'm picking these out, I look at large blue chip companies, companies that can withstand a recession. Like right now, Uber cannot withstand a recession, right? Because the reason why, it's a non-profitable company with little to no cash or as little to no cash flow. They cannot stand a recession. Soon as people are not going out as much, they're not catching Ubers as much, that slow down their revenue. When they can't pay their revenue, that means they can't pay their debt. They can't, they're not going to be able to make it. They're going to have a very hard time in a down economy. So a company like a Uber, a non-profitable company that's big on discretionary spending. Discretionary spending means people usually use Ubers to go out on a date, go out and meet people. People are not going to be going out too funny when a recession hits, right? And then plus the company's already not profitable. That's going to really just make everything hurt even more. All right, Walmart, Dollar Tree. You're right, Max. Be a Walmart, Dollar Tree. People will still be buying groceries, right? People won't just lose a bunch of weight. You don't see, man, economy went bad, man. Dude stopped making money. He just started losing a bunch of weight. People will still buy it. So, gold. Yes, gold is one that, that's not gold miner stocks. You can say that. Yes. Aaron, what do you mean Visa doesn't loan out money? I got a credit card right now with a $26,000 limit, meaning I can go buy $26,000 worth of BS, right? If I went out today and swiped my credit card and see if I went and bought a new car or a decent car, for $20,000, swipe my card, boom, $20,000, right? That's lent. Somebody just lended me that money. You know what I'm saying? Like Visa, yes, Visa didn't, but Visa make their money mostly off of transactions, right? They make their money off of the transactions of this person buying this or buying that or whatnot. But when people stop buying, that's less transactions that's going across their credit card. What happens to Visa? So, cigarette companies, yes, that's true. Coke and drug companies. Coca-Cola, you mean? I hope you're talking about Coca-Cola. Yes, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Those are now. This is why Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is in an elite large cap stunts. What you call it? You know, the elite large cap companies, right? What I mean by that, it's called a dividend aristocrat, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly too. These are stocks that have over the last 25 years they have paid dividends. And not only have they paid dividends, they had increasing dividends. And we know over the last 25 years, how many market crashes have we had in the last 25 years? We had the dot-com bomb and we had the financial crisis of '08, the dot-com bomb of 2000. So in order to get into that level, that means you have had to pay increasing dividends over the last, even in a down economy, even in a recession. So companies that did that was Coca-Cola. Just to name a few, Coca-Cola was one. AT&T was one. Walmart was one. Johnson and Johnson was one. So those are big companies that are usually deemed as recession proof, because when the economy goes down, when the stock market goes down, these companies are still going to be making profit, and they've shown the ability to be able to, even in a down economy, to hit to pay back. Right? Somebody said Berkshire. Yes, Berkshire. Berkshire has a crazy amount of capital, cash, sitting in their portfolio, right? So Berkshire, I definitely believe in, can withstand a recession big time, and they're going to thrive in a recession because they're going to be buying up everybody, guarantee that. Car loan delinquencies at the same pace of 2008. Yeah, that's the real economy right there. Repossessions. People pay attention to repossessions. Also, another great indicator: how many people are buying stock on margin? Who are taking out loans to buy stocks? Y'all remember when they stopped people from taking out loans to buy Bitcoin? Who remembers that? They said, no, you can't take out loans to buy Bitcoin. Ask yourself, why did they do that? Why did they not let people take out loans to buy Bitcoin? Yes, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. I agree with that. Yeah, he said it's not the bank that loans you the money. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the bank loans the money, but Visa is they make their money off of transactions for the most part, right? And if you didn't have a job tomorrow, if you didn't have any money coming in tomorrow, you're going to slow down on that credit card, right? Aaron, weed company. When you look at weed companies, Aaron, how many weed companies are actually profitable? Most weed companies right now are not even profitable. Majority of them. All these little penny stocks everybody be talking about, this stock that costs $1 here, $2 here, those things are not even profitable. So, no, sir. People are going to smoke weed, but they may not smoke it legally. Most of these companies haven't even turned a profit yet, right? So when I just spoke about that, companies that are not turning a profit and they get a little pinch on this, people will still do drugs, but when they get a little pinch on their cash flow and they are already not profitable, it's going to be some smoke in the city. Okay. Keisha says, hey everyone, how you doing out there? Thank you for tuning in. But so we talked about that, right? Recession-proof stocks. I look at recession-proof stocks. What will people do regardless of what the economy is doing? People will eat. People will drink. I won't say alcohol, but I mean, we have to survive. We got to drink water. We got to do this. You don't see people be like, oh, well, I lost a bunch of weight because the economy crashed. No, people don't do that. Boom, Mr. Unbreakable, right dead on it. People will pay their utilities. Lights, water, gas. Lights, water, gas. People will pay their utilities, right? That's a big one. People will pay for their lights, their water, their gas, their heat, their AC. Utility stocks are pretty much recession proof, right? I'm trying to think who was a big one out there, the big utility company. Waste management. Waste management will still be around. Yes. Okay, somebody wrote pharmaceuticals. It's a very slim on the pharmaceuticals. I know what you're thinking. People will need their medicine regardless, like a Walgreens or CVS or whatnot. People will need them. You know, if you're a diabetic, you're gonna be a diabetic. The healthcare industry, right? If you got high blood pressure, you're gonna need your medicine regardless, right? But you got to be careful with pharmaceuticals because a lot of pharmaceuticals out there, they're mostly like I put them in the category of discovery pharmaceuticals. And what I mean by discovery pharmaceuticals,
there are pharmaceuticals that are they are into the, these are pharmaceuticals that do what you call it. What I'm saying about that, about Discovery Pharmaceuticals, they're the ones that's trying to come up with a, what you call it. Yes, Pfizer. You're right. Pfizer is a good one. Pfizer's a good one, but not these new, all these little pharmaceutical companies that be like, oh, we're trying to research and trying to get a patent for this medicine for the eyeball or whatever. And they usually stay flatlined and they'll go crazy if they can get something discovered or get a trademark or a patent or get FDA approved. No, but a company like a Pfizer, who make a lot of those things, yes, those are recession proof. Those are companies that will still thrive, right? So I don't want to jump too crazy off into the recession-proof stock. We're going to move to the next one. Cash is king, baby. Cash is king. Cash, who has the cash, will be king in a recession. Meaning, if somebody told you right now, everything at your local Walmart is 99% off. Everything is 99% off. Guess what you're going to need? Cash, right? The person who has the cash or who can get their hand on cash will become king. For a prime example, Berkshire, on their last report, they reported they had 128 billions in cash. Huge, crazy stockpile cash, right? When they have that much cash sitting on hand, you know what they're doing. They're waiting on the next recession. They're going to buy everybody. They might buy me, right? They're going to buy everything. They're going to be out like scavengers picking up everything. They still got a big portfolio. They got a $250 billion portfolio over there. So their portfolio is still there, but they got a 120 something billion sitting in cash, just waiting, and then they keep low overhead. So I mean, they're going to be back because right now, notice Buffett, Berkshire, and which is Warren Buffett for the people that's not familiar, he just got outbidded for the company called Tech Data, right? And he said, hey, he's not too big on buying companies in the tech data space because the reason why, because right now money is easy to borrow, right? Because we're in a booming economy, or we're in a financially fit economy. It's very easy to get credit. It's very easy to borrow money, and people can just overpay for stuff. So when money is freely, everybody can bid up on something and just jack the price up, and you end up overpaying. So what he loves to do, wait till when money tightens up, credit tightens up, nobody got no money, it's hard to get money, then he's going to come in with that money. He's going to come in and be like, well, you know what? I got this. And that's how he's going to be able to get a better price. Because the competition is going to be, most of everybody's going to be in a crunch. They're not going to be in a buying spree in a down economy, right? Rent. Yes. I kind of put that with utilities. People will still have to have a roof over their head. It may not be the roof they want, but they're going to have a roof over their head. They're going to have lights. Well, regardless of what's happening in the economy, I'm going to figure out a way to keep my lights on, right? Ghost Hunter, I don't know what this is. Modern. I'm guessing what you're saying. I'm not picking up on that one. In the pipeline, it's got research and development. Yeah, the company's doing all the research and development. So cash is king. Another one is cash. But the thing about the tricky part about cash is, where do you keep cash? I've known people who's been waiting on the market to crash since 2014. Some people have been waiting on the market to crash since 2014, and here we are going into 2020. They missed out on 6 years of gains waiting on the market to crash. That's called opportunity cost. They missed out big time on the opportunity cost. Why did they miss out big time? Because that money was uninvested. Then the money didn't keep up with inflation because it was set in cash. So guess what happens to their money? They lost a good bit of their money due to inflation. Because if inflation is moving at 2% and your money's sitting in your checking account and waiting on the next market crash, guess what happens? Now, it's a big trend I've been noticing too that's been very weird. I've been seeing a lot of savings accounts offering 2%. Robinhood came out talking about they're going to put out a cash management system, which you're going to get 2%. ETrade is giving like 1.75 on savings account. Those are crazy numbers for savings account, right? Crazy numbers, right? So the thing about it, say if the next market crash don't happen until 10 years from now, right? Say if it don't happen until 10 years from now, and I got my money sitting in cash just waiting and waiting and waiting, look how much I lost. So what can I do? How can I deploy my cash to be a utility for me? Because we want our money to work for us. How can it be a utility for me while I'm being patient? Where can I put my money to where it can be liquid, right? So I can pull it out, get it anytime. That's what liquid means. I need to be able to get to it at any time and to deploy it at any time, right? She says, be patient. You're right. Be patient. So, okay. Oh, she's talking about the pharmaceutical. I got you, Ghost Hunter. You're talking about it was a Martin. It's a pharmaceutical. I'm not very familiar with that one. Not very familiar with that one. But that's so. Where can I do with my cash? LK Ross said it's best to. I'm guessing he's finishing up, or he or she finishing up writing on that. Hit the thumbs up button as you come in. Right, Beef. What's going on, Beef? Let me go. I said I was going to answer B question. Let me jump back into B question. He sent me a question. Oh, he said your red Apple headphones. Yeah, man, I got these headphones. I'm rough with headphones, man. I go through a new pair of headphones like every month. So I decided to get me a nice pair, and they've been withstanding my pressure for a while now. So they definitely paid for their value. He said he brought some SPG and some BP to protect portfolio. SPG. That sounds like S&P 500 something. I don't know what that is. He says, as long as I'm putting gas in my car. Oh, BP, the regular BP. Got you. Makes sense. We are currently in the longest stock market bull and run in history. Yes, 10-year bull. Unbelievable. That's why I did not believe this year was. I'm very shocked that this year is a bull market, and it's a crazy bull. You know, you're talking about the market's almost up 30%. S&P 500 itself. That's a crazy bull. You know, 10-year bull. Man, people have been waiting on that market crash since 2014. I've seen hedge fund managers lose everything waiting on the market crash. So to see another strong year is crazy. 1 second, I'm gonna adjust my mic a little bit. But who else said something here? Here we go. So I don't feel like it's hiding half of my face. It's my new toy, y'all. I just want to play with it. It'll be all right. Oh. Okay. There we go. But let's see what else we got here. It's best to invest some of your cash while you're waiting on the market crash, right? Yes, you want to invest some of your cash, but you also want to have a good bit of your cash on standby. How people do that, or one of the best ways to do that, is I've seen people hide their money, not hide, but some people place their money in their bonds. Give me 1 second. Hey, Wesley. They may put their money in bonds. This thing here. I gotta tighten up the screw down here on my mic. So that's one of the ways I've seen people do it as well. Well, they take their money. I'm adjusting my mic here, y'all. Give me a second. Where do I put my money while I'm waiting on the market to crash? Where do you place it? You know what I mean? Where do you place your money as you're waiting on the market to crash? Oh, crap. Give me a second. Where do you place your money as you wait on the market to crash? Okay, here we go here. We're currently in the longest running bull. It's best to invest some of your cash. I see what you say there, Beef, J&J. Bonds, yes, bonds. Some people buy bonds. People buy long-term bonds, and they buy long-term bonds that pay dividends. Now, you do get an interest rate risk, but like I have some bonds in my portfolio. I have some gold and there in my portfolio, just due to the fact of when the market takes a hit, where do I want to see? You know, the bad thing about bonds is they stay flat. Bonds stay flat, when the market goes up or down, but you do get a little monthly income. Yes, treasury bonds. That's a big one where people do. Now you can get treasury bond ETFs for people out there that want to do it. Treasury bonds, it keeps the money very liquid, or people call them T bonds, treasury bonds. They're very short term, like somebody who has like 3 to 6 months. Some people put their money in money market accounts. This is places that people hide their money. Well, not hide it, but this is where people put their money as they wait on what you call it, right? Ooh. 1 second there. So yeah, so T-bond, CD, well, you got to think about it. CDs could be a little difficult. Hit the thumbs up button. Share this out when you get there. CDs could be a little difficult. Why are CDs not a good place to hide cash waiting on the next market crash? Why? What is the drawback of having a CD? What do you lose when you purchase a CD? What do you lose when you purchase a CD? What type of risk do you take when you purchase a CD when you're trying to have cash? You're like, hey, you know what? I got $1,000 sitting in cash. Where can I place it? Because I'm waiting on the market to crash. What risks do you absorb by putting your money in CDs? Let's see where y'all at on this. Right? Because there's a risk. But there's a risk with everything. So cash, you keep your money by having your money in your checking account, savings account. Your money falls into an issue called inflation risk, meaning that your money will lose to inflation, right? By having your money, by not investing in cash, you're losing to inflation, right? Because your money's sitting in a checking account. Checking account is getting 0.25 or whatnot. Yes. Limited Win says short term, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, right? The thing about it, somebody said you can't touch it. That's correct. It's called liquidity. Liquidity risk, meaning that if the stock market crashes today and brings an amazing opportunity in January, but I have a 1 year CD, or I may have a 6 month CD or a 2 year CD, that now if I pull my money out, I may lose the interest that I earned. Plus, I might get penalized in a lot of cases to be able to take advantage of the market. Liquidity, being able to access that money real fast to do what you need to do. Like money that's sitting in your cash in your portfolio. Like let's take tomorrow. I didn't get Santa Claus didn't bring me nothing this year. What I mean by that, December 24th, 25th of last year, the market went down like 20%. And I was like, oh, Santa Claus brought me a gift, and I jumped in on it, and it, I even got some other stuff in there. And it just done very well for me for 1 year, right? So I was hoping that was going to happen this year, and I didn't get a present this year, right? But let's say if I had my money in a CD when the market crashed, right now I got to okay. Well, if I pull my money out and they take all the interest that they gave me, then I lost to inflation. So liquidity risk: how quick can I liquidate my money to grab and put it somewhere else? That's why a lot of times CDs are not as good as, depending on the stipulation, because it locks away your money. And yes, you gain interest, and it's a good safe place to put your money. But depending, you could put yourself in a hindrance of being able to touch that money and be able to put it to work for you when that bad time comes. Another thing is gold. Gold and commodities, right? Gold and commodities, we kind of touched on that earlier. Gold and commodities will spike. It's a crazy year. The market has been going up, and so has gold. That's been very weird. So gold was a good investment this year. Usually when the market is going up, gold is going down because everybody's jumping into equities. But it's kind of weird to see gold going up at the same time as the market. That's a little weird. But when you look at the history of market crashes, when equities, meaning stocks and stuff like that, gets funny, people run to commodities like gold. OKC boy. I guess I mean, yeah, you know what? Comment. Tell me where you guys are from. Tell me where you guys and girls are from. Comment and tell me where y'all try the people that's catching it live. He said, yeah, my money. OKC boy says, yeah, my money is already for another already for another stock market crash because my money is in an IUL. What do you think about index universal life, the index strategy? Right? So okay, IULs. IUL index meaning it's a life insurance policy and it's a whole life insurance policy. A whole life insurance policy is a policy that covers you your whole life. They're usually a little bit more expensive than a term. You know, I see it. Fort Worth from OKC, but living in Fort Worth, Dallas. All right, I see you. Inflation will cause gold to skyrocket. I can agree with that. But IULs, let's jump on there. IULs, the Index Universal Life. The index meaning that your cash will track the index S&P 500. Universal means you pick how much you want to pay. You want to pay $100 a month, $150 a month, and depending on how much you put in a month, that's how much coverage you can get, right? And it's a life policy. It covers you for your whole life, meaning that it covers like 125 years, right? And which is usually the whole, you know, I don't think I'm gonna do 125 years, right? Hopefully I can get another 30, 40. I'll be good 30 or 40, not a bad 30 or 40, good 30 or 40. But so what this thing does is when the stock market goes up, it goes up. When the stock market goes down, it loses nothing. So for prime example, let's say if you have an IUL and the max is 14%, but the bottom is 0. That means that if the stock market this year went up 30%, let's say last year the stock market went down 5%. Guess how much I lost? 0. This year, the stock market went up 30%. Guess how much I make? 14. So your ceiling is 14, your bottom is 0, meaning that the market crash tomorrow, your money stays there or whatnot. Those are index universal life policies, right? And now the good thing about them is it's a good way to invest, right? One second. You know, the good thing about it is what you call it, right? The good thing about is that you're investing. You got a life insurance policy and you are investing. The downside about the stock market is what you call it. The downside about IULs are the fees. Most people that purchase IULs don't know what the fees are, right? Now, I would say the good thing is you're investing, you are enacting what Warren Buffett preaches about. You know, rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, see rule number 1, right? So the problem with that is, I mean, not the problem with that. So, you know, you're getting that. You're getting some of the ups, none of the downs, right? So that's a good thing. The other good thing is it's an annuity built into it too. When you turn it into 59 and a half, or when you turn it into 70, you can get money paid back to you. You know what I mean? So you don't have to, you can still get paid. You know what I mean? Regardless of what you're doing. So when people look at you with the world of investing, you can still make money, you know, either up market or down market or whatnot. Now, the downside to having an IUL are number 1, you know, the fees. Because let's think about it. If you was to get a short term, you look at a Dave Ramsey, he speaks big against whole life policies, right? And this is his thought process. He says, hey, if you go out there and get a term policy, a 30-year term, me, I'm 35 years old. If I got a 30-year term policy, that means that I will pay about 150, not 100. I would pay if I got a term policy, right? I mean, I'll be covered until I'm 65 years old. And instead of paying, let's say, prime example, I'm paying $300 a month right now, right? I'm paying $300 a month right now. $300 a month into a IUL. He says, hey, don't pay $300 a month into an IUL. Get a 30-year term. You get a 30-year term, instead of paying $300 into an IUL, you may be paying $50 to $100 in an IUL. Then you take that other $200 or that $250 a month, you invest that into the index yourself, And by the time you turn 65, you will be self-insured and you will have more money than you would have had when using IUL. So now let's say if you invested $250 a month. Let's do the math right now since we're here. Hopefully my phone don't die while I'm doing this. If you invested $250 a month, that's $3,000 a year, right? We're gonna do something real quick. And let's say if it compounded at 7%, and you did this for 30 years. 30 years compounding at 7%, and you put in $300 a month, and then no, $250 a month. Periodic contribution. You're going to be looking at about $250,000, right? So now, by the time you're 65, you're going to have $250,000 sitting up somewhere or whatever, right? Now you got $250,000. That's two. Let's say if you put $250 a month for 30 years, that compounded at 7% annually. You got $250,000 by the time you're 65. Now you're 65, you're going to take that $250,000. That $250,000 is still going to be invested. Now you can calculate, which I'm not going to pull out my financial calculator, be kicking my behind too. But you can pull out, you can say, hey, I got $250,000 that's growing at 7% annually. How much can I pull out without never going broke? Sometimes that could be $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, but you're going to be pulling out. You got $250,000. Now you're 65. You don't need insurance because you got $250,000 sitting there. That $250,000 is slowly compounding, and you pulling out on it every single month. That's how people retire. So that's the downside people look at of it too. But the thing I like about it is it's automated. I learned fast and quick that in finance, it's 20% numbers. Like I can sit here and tell you, oh, if you invested $250 a month for 30 years, you're going to have $250,000 and you're going to be 60 years old with $250,000 and you're going to be able to pull out $3,000 a month and never go broke again in your life as long as you keep that money invested XYZ, right? 20% numbers, but it's 80% behavior. It's like Andre from Outkast said, you could paint a pretty picture, but you can't predict the weather. How does that make sense? I can sit here and tell you, oh, you invest $250 a month for 20 years. By the time you get to that 20 years, you're going to have $250,000 sitting to the side. But real life kicks in. People get divorced. People get married. People have child support. People get sued. People lose money. Other things happen in life. Family member die, health dies. So you can paint that pretty picture. Oh, all I got to do is put $200, $300 a month, and I'm going to have $250,000 in 30 years. And then on that $30 million, I'm going to be able to pull out, $50,000 a year and not even have to worry about it, and that money's going to grow and I'm never going to run out of money. And then I won't need insurance because if I die, they can just use that $250,000 or that $200,000, whatever it may be. I can grow me a nest egg and pull on that nest egg. Yeah, we can all paint that pretty picture, but we can't tell you in 30 years is a thing called life. And when you go through these things called life, all type of crap happen, right? So, all right, I'm gonna go back on here. Okay. Titus from Joel. I don't even know what that is. Is that Indiana? Living in Kentucky by Cincinnati, I'm guessing. Yes, that's another OKC boy. So you can access your cash value tax-free. I like to call that privatized banking. That's another good point. You have something called privatized banking, right? Meaning that over time, as my money is building up cash, it's accumulating cash. I can go in at any time and borrow against it. Let's say Wesley is now 15 to 16 years old. I want to go buy him a car. Instead of going to go get a car loan for $10,000 or $15,000 and get him his first car, what I can do is I can go and borrow from my insurance policy, buy him his first car, pay myself back at whatever the interest rate is for the government. It might be 1 or 2%. So I'm paying myself back with interest instead of paying the bank back with interest. Privatized banking concept. So yes, you can pull out on your cash. That is a true thing, right? But the reason why I like IULs is because it's automated. Knowing that 80% of people, 80% of investing is behavior, meaning that can you continuously do one thing over and over and over and over. It's like, for prime example, right? My wife is not big into crazy as an investor now as I am. I tell her, hey, if I die, all you got to do is pay $300 a month into this policy, and when you turn 65, you're gonna get paid $30,000-$40,000 a year for the rest of your life, right? And she would be like, okay, cool. All I gotta do is just make sure this thing is paid. Got it. People are more loyal to other people than themselves. That's a good thing about IUL. People will pay their bills before they pay themselves. So people will be like, oh, I gotta pay this $300 policy. This is how I'm gonna retire. They'll go get extra hours. They'll go do what they gotta do. They don't want to lose that policy. But if you told a person, hey, every year, make sure you pay into your IRA every month. As soon as things get a little tight, man, let me cut that back a little bit. I ain't gonna put 200 in a month. Let me put 300 in a month. Let me put $10 in a month, right? So people will slow it down. Also, shout out to NBA champ Meta World Peace for sending me this. The Panda's friend. Appreciate that. I'll give a shout out to Meta World Peace. Very good dude. Okay. Okay, she said, don't forget about silver. Gold, silver ratio spread a historical difference. Yes, gold. I kind of put gold, silver in that commodities category, right? I kind of put that into that commodities category as well. OKC boy says a 59.5 rule. 401k and mutual funds have fees. So yes. Well, yes, 401ks and mutual funds do have fees, but usually ask yourself, look at the fees on an IUL compared to the fees on a 401k and majority of mutual funds. I mean, think about it. I mean, nobody's going to, I mean, it's the insurance industry. They're not going to sell you nothing. They got to be making money some type of way. So, I mean, it's no knock on them. It's just that usually when you just do the math, if you do the math and say, hey, I'm paying $300 into an insurance policy, a whole life policy. If I was to get a 30-year term policy, it would cost me $30. You know what I'm saying? It would cost $50, $60, or whatever. And if I invested $250 into the stock market for 30 years, how much money would I have? Boom, I have $250,000. Now go look at your IUL and see where would it project you at in 30 years. In most cases, it's going to be a whole lot lower than $250,000, right? And the reason why it's going to be lower because of the fees. As you get older, the price, the money that's going into your cash value versus going into your insurance is going to change because you're getting older, you're becoming a higher risk. You know, I mean, these companies, like, they're selling you these things, but they're making money back some type of way, right? I mean, it's just basic math 101. I mean, they're making their money some type of way. They gotta include fees, because right now, at a young age, I'm 35. My insurance portion may only cost $50, $60, or something like that. But when I'm 50, now only, right now, $200 may be going out of my $300 to a policy. But as I get older, less and less is going to cash and more going into my policy. Right? So let's look at it. Okay, 401k. Can you give an example of a T-bill, treasury bill? A treasury bill, it's kind of hard for me to explain treasury bill. It's where I would tell you this. It's short term. You know what? The closest thing, put it almost like a money market. You know how a money market, it pays more than a savings account and your money is more liquidable? You know what I'm saying? So that's how we look at it. That's how I look at it. Just pretty much beef, look at it as a money market almost. Okay, see, boy says, but what you're saying applies to the mutual funds and 401ks. They have fees too, which people don't know about. The 401k, you can put in a max of a 401k, you can put a max of $18K a year. Yes, everybody has fees. This is financial industry. I mean, my car insurance got fees. Everybody got a fee on. I mean, I mean, that's just business one-on-one. These companies, National Life and Whole Group or whatnot. And then on top of that, let's be honest, the reason how IULs really make money, the reason what they really do is most people that buy IULs, they would never live out the life of the IUL. Most of them will never. When they sign up for them, they won't pay the $250 for the next 30 years and get the annuity. Most people are going to cash out. Once they see that $100,000 sitting in their policy, $150,000 in their policy, that's when the good idea fairy is going to come up. We'll be like, bloop, you know what? Man, I could buy a casino. Man, I could buy some Bitcoin. Man, I could buy these penny stocks. Man, I could start this restaurant I always wanted to start. That's always what happens. So most people don't live out the life of the policy. And when you don't live out the life of the policy, the insurance company say, oh, thanks for playing. And they move on, right? But for most people to get a policy, pay into that IUL for 30 years, draw annuity off of it for 10 or 15, 20 years, then die, and then get the death benefit, slim to none. Less than 2%, guarantee you. Right? We had to, you say, okay, Peter, what's his name? Peter Skiff, whatever, whatnot. He was supposed to come on the show at one time. I need to reach back out to Peter. I can't even say his last name. Why do you say that? Why do you call me him for? Silver is cheap. Yes, silver is very cheap. Gold is not as cheap as I was expecting it to be. I opened an IRA. So somebody says, what do you recommend we get in IUL? It depends on your state. You're in Rhode Island, right, Beef? Depends on your state. Depending on, you got a licensed person up in your state. You got companies like National Life. I think Fidelity has some. It's a couple boutique. It's a bunch of insurance agents out there too that you can find within your state, because the agent, they're just selling you the product. It's like an insurance agent is like going to a car dealership and buying a Chrysler, right? They are there. They can, they're just a facilitator. They're not the creator of the product, right? So, and if you're going to do that, make sure whatever insurance company you go to, make sure you do research on that insurance company. Make sure they're sturdy. He said, I'm telling you, mutual funds and 401ks have more fees than IULs. You're right. But if you increase the amount you put into an IUL, you would have more than $1 million. Yes. I mean, you're not right at all, OKC boy, about what you put in there. Now, not all 401ks and mutual funds are the same, right? Some mutual funds are 0.02. Some mutual funds are 1.5 in interest, right? But the thing about it is, ask yourself the question, what is the interest on your particular IUL? I'm not knocking it. We're just stating the facts, right? That's why I love finances. It's nothing to go back and forth about. Is the truth. It's just you look at the facts, right? And everything, and I look at it. If I always put it to you as well. If you catch a financial advisor and they can't tell you the downside of what you're investing in, they don't know it well enough. They're just point blank and serious. It's just like everything. Every piece of medicine comes with a side effect. If somebody comes to you with a product and it's just all good, man, this product is so good or whatnot. No, they can't tell you a downside, man. They'll tell you this is great cash flow. It's going to grow in the future. It's recession-proof. It's bull-proof. It's this, is that. Man, this is the best thing in the world. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I automatically look at that person and say they don't know it well enough. It's just like a marriage, right? It don't matter how great your wife is. I don't care how beautiful she is, how intelligent she is, how much she loves you. She's going to come with a side effect, right? Everybody has a downside. I don't care what it is. Coca-Cola has, it's one of the strongest. GE, everybody got a downside. And just because somebody has a downside or somebody points out a side effect doesn't mean you're a bad person. Take me, for example, right? Some people say, Prince, this is what you do very well, but this is what you don't do so well. This is what you don't do so well. This is what you suck at. I don't get mad because I will never be perfect. I can aim for perfection, but I never be perfect. No, so no insurance product or no financial product I ever seen doesn't come with a side effect. Like when you look at a CD tells you, hey, put your money into the CD. You're guaranteed not to lose your money on the CD. You're guaranteed to make 1 or 2%. A person will be like, man, how can I lose? This is a perfect product. But due to your lack of knowledge, you may not understand market returns. You may not understand right? Insurance companies and other great insurance. Yes, Insurance companies are another great recession-proof stock. Even when we had the market crash in 2009, one of the only industries that stayed alive was insurance companies. That's a good one, Max B. OKC Board says, sure, you may cash out, but it's better to have cash out rather than tax once you do take out like your 401k. Now, OKC Board, what's the difference between a traditional and a Roth? Because he's saying, hey, yes, it's you're going to get taxed once you take your money out of a 401k, right? What's the difference between if you keep your money till you're 59 and a half, right? With a Roth, you won't get pulled out. Now, that is true. Now, you can take loans out on your 401k depending on how your 401k is set up. You can take out loans, but yes, when you had it inside of an insurance, you know what? Oh, you know what? I give you this, OKC boy. Here's another benefit of having an insurance policy. Beef, listen up. Cash value in a life insurance policy, you ain't got to pay no child support. In most cases, when people get divorced or they go to child support and stuff like that, cash value in a life insurance policy is usually off limits, right? Because it's looked at as a life insurance policy. It's not looked at as liquid cash, right? And you can't pull it out tax free because you paid the taxes before it went in. So that is another little behind the scenes thing where I seen people like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I got a life insurance policy with $250,000 in it, but it can't be touched. If when it comes down to like child support, all that type of stuff like that. So that is another good thing. I will give you that one, right? Usually when people get divorced or all these other things, you can, it's a good place to keep money and stuff. Okay, she said, thanks for the discussion. See you next time. Cool. Okay, Boy said, it's simple. If the market tanks, you will lose your money in a 401k plus tax once you withdraw 59 and a half and tax period. That is incorrect. You don't lose your money when the market goes down. You don't lose your money until you sell. Now, it is correct your money will lose value. Okay, I go out here tomorrow and buy a house for $400,000, right? Housing market crashes, and now my house is only worth $200,000. Did I just lose $200,000? No, you don't lose anything in the financial world. You don't lose nothing in the financial world until you sell it. Now, let's say I have a bunch of Microsoft stock and it's trading. I brought Apple today for $289. The market tanks tomorrow and Apple ain't worth nothing but $100. Did I lose money? No, I don't lose money until I hit the sell button. Once I hit the sell button, that is a loss. Now, just because it went down, that means I lost value. So if the market goes down tomorrow, yes, everybody 401k, majority of people 401ks will lose value, right? It's just like in 08. If you sold all your stuff in 08, raise my hand, right? Not all of it, but you sold some stuff in 08, you took losses. But the people who just left their money there, and if they continue to invest or they just left their money there, they make their way back. So let's get that understood. You don't lose money until you hit the sell button. You can lose value, but you don't lose money. It's like I forgot who said, I think it was like Grant Cardone said, it was like, hey, you buy a house for $200,000. The next day, somebody knock on your door and say, hey man, I give you $150,000 for it. You probably won't sell it, right? You'll be like, I'm living in this house. Well, it ain't worth but $150,000. Did you lose money? No, you lost value, right? And if you hold on to your house when the market rebounds, it's just like everything that went down. Let's say if you brought Bank of America before the market crashed. The market crashed, Bank of America went down to $1 and you kept it anyway. Now, here it is back up to like $34, $35 and you held on to it. So it's just like a roller coaster. You get on a roller coaster, you fasten your seatbelt, you tie your stuff up on a roller coaster. When do when the roller coaster get to the top, you don't be like, oh, it starts to fall. You don't sit there and take off your vest and be like, all right, man, yeah, I'm out of here. This ride's getting crazy. I'm gonna get off at the top, or I'm gonna get off over here, or whatever. No, you kind of buckle up and you go through the market bulls like it is now. You go through the bust like it's going to go through, and that's how you win in the long run. Oh, yeah. He said only because you're talking. Man, Peter is, I would love to get Peter on the show. Peter is just like, the world is going to end. The world's going to crash. I mean, Peter's been saying that probably for at least a decade, And when the market crashes again, Peter would jump up and be like, "I told y'all it's gonna da 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 da." Of course. But Peter said the inevitable. He said, so I get what you're saying about Peter Skiff, but it is recession proof. When the market tanks, gold will go up, and you ain't gonna better shut Peter up when the market goes down. I know that because you can't shut him up now when the market is being bull year after year after year after year after year after year. Peter has been, you know what I'm saying? So it's funny. Peter cool guy though. Okay, it was Joe G. Okay, C-boy, that's what I'm talking about. 401k, I'm not talking about stocks. You don't sell 401ks if you had an IUL. 401ks in 208, your ILA will return you more cash year to date. What do you think 401ks are built of? Inside your 401k, if you got a C fund inside your 401k, which is common stocks, or if you got an F fund, or every portfolio by every 401k by law must offer you aggressive, moderate, and low risk portfolios and funds inside of your portfolio. Most of that crap ain't nothing but stocks. Some of them might be fixed. Some of them may be bonds. Some of it may be international stocks. Some of them may be common stocks. Some of them may be small cap stocks. But guess what the word I'm ending with? Stocks, right? That's what all those things are. Your 401k, just because it's a C fund, it ain't offering you nothing special. You look inside those C funds, your 401k, if you look at the 401k, look at the military. The military and the government has the largest 401k in America, probably in the world, right? And it's controlled by BlackRock, which is sitting right there on Wall Street. All that $1 trillion investments that they have over there, that's all going right back and tied into Wall Street. Joe JG, you're right. Just stay the course. Don't listen to the noise. Keep investing if you're young. That's right. Don't try to outsmart the market and time the market and try, it's about to go down. It's about to go up. If a person just consistently invest continuously over time, right? They're going to win in the long run. He said, yes. Okay, see what says, yes, 401ks are made of stock. I'm glad we agree on that. But you cash out a 401k, you don't sell portions of it. It's stocks. I don't know what you're getting at. I mean, there's no sense to go back and forth. But anyway, those are the things that I'm talking about that you can do, right? One of the big things is you're looking at the time horizon over time. You know what I mean? You're looking at the time horizon, how you're going to win over a long period of time, right? So if you're long term, like take me for example, the money that's sitting in my portfolio, I don't plan on using it or needing it within the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and stuff like that, right? So I don't care if the market crashes tomorrow. Market crash tomorrow, I'm going to keep investing straight through it, right? If I'm long term, if you're somebody whose daughter is supposed to go to school next year, if you're somebody whose kid is supposed to go to school next year, something like that or whatnot, stock market may not be for you. Because if you're trying to get in there and time it, well, man, I've been like, it's been times I've been sitting back waiting on Microsoft to come down, I've been sitting back waiting on Microsoft to come down, and you waiting and waiting and waiting, and the market just continuously go up. You're trying to time it. So a person who just buys it regardless of what happens, they usually wins over the long term. So look at the time horizon. If you're somebody who's going 5-10 years or whatnot, if you're doing 5-10 years or not, or whatever the case may be, if you're looking 5, 10, 20 years down the line, then you're going to win. Right? So if you're going, if you 20 years down, I don't care if the market crashes in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, unless I had life-changing events that happen. So with me, I'm long-term. So I'm looking long-term. A market crash or market correction is just good for me. So look at the time horizon. If you're somebody who's looking at trying to get in the market or wait and dip and oh, it's going to crash here, oh, it's going to go up here, use those people to lose them. It's usually only like the top 1 or 2% of people in the world can do that. So wow, why do you say that? Let me see that. So those are the two things that you don't want to do. Stay away from. So you stay at a consistent basis. You continuously go up and down. You're good to go. Right. Okay, let's see here. LOL Prince, what if everyone stopped dividends? Would you stop? You mean everybody stop paying dividends? What you mean by that, Max B? Joe G, you're right. It's all paper losses until you sell. Yes, the IRS don't even count it as you. Like, take it for a prime example. I want to say, Google did very well for me this year. Microsoft did pretty much everything in my portfolio pretty much did pretty well for me this year, right? And when I'm looking at everything, it says unrealized gains 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, right? Realized gains, right? Unrealized gains means that you haven't really gained anything because you really don't make money on the stock market until you sell. The rest of it is just paper. Yes, your portfolio is up 30%. You know what I'm saying? Yes, your portfolio is up 10 or 20%, but that don't mean nothing until you sell. Once you sell it, then you realize a profit. You're like, oh, I brought Microsoft 2 years ago and I'm up 40%. Those are unrealized gains. Those are not profits. It's not a profit until you sell. It's not a loss until you sell. Right? He said, if everybody stop, no, think about it. I have stocks that don't pay dividends. Berkshire Hathaway doesn't pay dividends, right? Berkshire Hathaway doesn't pay dividends. Google doesn't pay dividends. I have it. I had Facebook for a while. It didn't pay a dividend. I had Apple for a little while in the past when it wasn't paying dividend. Now it is. But I have a couple stocks that don't pay dividends. And usually stocks that don't pay dividends usually grow faster than stocks that do pay dividends. So I'm not against, dividends to me is just something extra. You know, I mean, if you're trying to grow money, you won't care about dividend paying stocks. But if you're trying to gain a cash flow, you want money back, then yes. Like look at Amazon. Amazon don't went to dividends, right? Amazon doesn't pay dividends, and I'm pretty sure the people that own Amazon for the last 5 years are not complaining. If you have a 401k with $50,000 in it, you decide to take out a loan for $10,000. What are you doing? What are you losing? If you have a 401k worth $50,000 of common S&P 500 shares with your money invested into, you want to take $15,000 to buy a stock, right? Right? You have to sell a portion of your portfolio to get some of that money. Liquidate. Yes, Berkshire Hathaway Class A is $339,000 per share. But they also have a Class B. Type in BRKB. That's about $200 some dollars a share. So it's like Class A is it's like, hey, either you want to buy a house or get one share of Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett stock. But you can get Class B for like $200 some dollars, and they grow at the same rate. Meaning if Class A makes 10%, so does Class B. So, instead of splitting the stock, he offered a Class B for the common folk. You just don't get voting rights. Okay, what if everyone's yeah. B, why you say wow? Wow, he says, oh my God, wow, thanks, boss. Man, speed. J Biz said he missed the beginning. Joe JG, love the channel. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Joe JG. Appreciate it. Yes, you still can come to the annual meeting with Class B. That's why Berkshire meetings blew up. Like back in the day, in the 80s, the Berkshire annual meeting was costing $1,000 per share. I mean, it was cost about, which in the 80s was a nice chunk of money. Now today it's 339,000. So people, if it was just Class A, it was always a small, close knit group of people that was going to the meetings because not everybody couldn't afford $100,000, $200,000, $50,000 for a share, right? Now that his shares are up to 339,000, right? So when he opened up the Class B, which allowed regular people, common investors, everyday people to come in, that's why he went from having 300-400 people come to 40 something thousand. That's why he has to be in an arena now, because he allowed other people to come in, which fattened Berkshire's pockets because they was able to get more money, right? It's just like when Robinhood releases, or not Goldman Sachs, but Charles Schwab or whoever, when they start letting us buy fractional shares, meaning that, hey, Amazon is $1,800, but you can buy a piece of Amazon for $10, $15, $20, $30. That's when it's going to change the game. Amazon going to make a killing. All these companies going to make a killing, because right now somebody don't have $300 to buy Apple, but they got $30. So right now, a person who only, the small investor, they may not have enough money to get Apple. But if they can get a piece of Apple for $10, $15, $20, $30, people will jump into it. That's why companies do stock splits. Because when you do a stock split, it opens up the people that can get your stock. Right? Who else we got in here? What do I think? I think AT&T is a good. We spoke about this earlier. JBiz. The thing about it, we spoke about this earlier. JBiz. AT&T is one of the dividend aristocrats, meaning they paid over the last 25 years. It paid stocks increasing. So I believe AT&T is a recession-proof stock. The only thing I got against AT&T is, I was a big believer in Verizon back in the day, but I moved out of Verizon because I just see the telecommunication industry is ripe for disruption. Right, with the internet. You remember back in the day when Wi-Fi wasn't that good, you couldn't really stream like that. But now Wi-Fi is getting so good, and so many other, it's almost everywhere you go got Wi-Fi. When I was in Japan, I mean, man, they had Wi-Fi everywhere. Every restaurant, everywhere you went to go sit down and eat, everybody had Wi-Fi. And when I had Wi-Fi, my phone worked just like a regular phone. People can call me, they can do everything, right? Wi-Fi. So once, I just figured in the future, Wi-Fi is going to continuously get better. I think that we're going to be connected all the time, and then I think that can be a big move for, because if you got Wi-Fi, you can call anybody you want to. You can FaceTime people. You can. I remember at one time was the Tango app was popular. You could Skype anybody. So so why am I paying $100, $200 a month? I think once they get their Wi-Fi together, we're going to see a lot, right? He said Apple would be the telecommunicating industry. Let me see who else got on here. Amazon option made $5,000 a day. Yeah. Amazon shot up today. But the thing about that, JBiz, how can you predict that? Who knew the stock was going to shoot up like that? If it shot up 5,000, that means a lot of people lost money. Well, I won't say lost money. They lost their insurance. What about the people that had put options? They lost a bunch of money, right? OKC boy, also Peter is in wrong, and the things he said about the market, basically the same thing. Yes, I mean, but the thing about it, Peter says stuff that we should already know, like, oh, the market's going to crash. Like, okay, we know that market's going to crash, gold's going to go up. Good observation. We all know that, right? Or I think we should all know that. I mean, anger. I looked up Berkshire. Yes, that's over $39,000 a share. Can you come to the annual meeting? Yes, you can. Sean says, if you could only buy in 5 stocks, what would it be? Ooh, he getting me right there. All right, let's take me. If I was a long-term person, and they said if I wanted to go high risk and medium risk, and if I only could buy into 5 stocks, what would it be? Going into the future, let's say my most aggressive stock going into the future. First one, you got to look at, you got to be with Amazon, right? Amazon is a monster out there right now. It's on the retail industry. So Amazon would be one. Uh Apple, they're $1 trillion company now, but Apple, you've been getting a little uh you know what another one I do? I would do Amazon, Berkshire, uh more so than Amazon. Who I like more so than Amazon? Give me that Google, baby. She's saying good night, good night. She said Amazon, Apple's going to shoot at 300. I would say, give me that Google. Google is pretty much the internet. The internet is Google. Google got the internet. They got everything. So I got to look at, uh, you know, that's what I got to say. Google, right? So I got to say Google. I got to say Amazon. I would say Apple. Give me some Berkshire. And who will be number 5? So I'll be Google, Amazon, Apple, Berkshire. I want to say Microsoft, but that's too close to Berkshire. I will say Walmart, but I just feel as though going 10, 20 years down the line, I think they'll have some problems with somebody like an Amazon who's going to innovate the market. Who would be number 5? Probably a Disney. It would be a Disney, McDonald's, or Coca-Cola. One of them. Let's say I would throw in a Disney. So I'd probably do a Disney, Berkshire, Amazon, Google. And what was my other one? I can't even think of it now. Well, y'all can replay it, but that'll be my top 5. He said Apple will be the telecommunication industry. Yeah, that'd be funny. I think Apple's gonna figure it out eventually. Yeah, he said, yeah, that's true. Amazon will jump onto that too. Yeah, they'll sell anything. Good night, everybody. Hey, good night. Thanks for tuning in. Uber, I don't know, man. I think Uber's gonna do it, but it's too risky right now. Uber is not profitable. If we hit a hard market crash in 2020, let's say if we had a deep, big recession for 3 years, right? I don't know if say we had from 20 to 23 was straight recession. I don't know if Uber can make it. Okay, Seaboy said it's not that Peter is just saying the market is going to crash. He's telling you why and why it's a bubble. I mean, that's every asset class has a bubble. Housing market has a bubble. Everybody has a bubble. I mean, that's just when you look at booms and busts, you have a market. The market moves in cycles. You have an expansion, a peak, recession, trough. I mean, is either you're in an expansion, where some people are saying we're in an expansion. What's that an expansion? Some people are saying we're in a peak, and they think that we're going to go into a recession next. Once you're in a recession, you're going to be in a trough. I mean, it's just evident flow. When it happened in 2008, I was very new to investing. I thought it was the end of the world. I didn't know we was in a cycle, right? So I mean, it's to be expected. That's why I made this episode. What do you think about Netflix and Chipotle? Netflix, man, Netflix was, I looked at them as being the big gods in the beginning. But man, there's so many people jumping in their space now. You got Disney coming out the woodworks, Apple streaming, Disney streaming, Amazon streaming. You got Hulu. I don't even know how many streaming services out there. Everybody is streaming now. I'm streaming, YouTube streaming. Everybody's just streaming now. So that's the only thing I say about Netflix. They feel like their space is getting crowded now. First, when Netflix was by itself, it was streamers killing the game. But I don't know how it's going to survive. When Disney Plus came, now people get to choose. I guess instead of having cable, everybody's going to have 5 different streaming services. But ESPN streaming, everybody's jumping on there, right? Everybody's jumping on there. So I mean, so that's the only problem I got with Netflix. It seemed like the space that they headed up, that it was the head honchos, everybody, big players, not just anybody. Let's take rideshare with Uber. I see a bunch of rideshare companies coming out or whatnot, but Uber is that done data, right? But when you look at what you call it, you know what I'm saying? What's going to crash? Yeah, the next yeah, okay, see, well, yeah, I think the rest is gonna be bad. Max B, Take Two, and EA looks good for the future. Oh, yeah, that's true. EA Sports and Take Two, those are good ones. Take Two and EA Sports. That's why the Fed is going to QE again. Yeah, quantitative easing. Just said, could you elaborate more with Walmart about Walmart in the future? Okay, so y'all remember this company called Blockbuster? Remember Blockbuster used to have video DVD rental places all across the globe, and people used to go rent DVDs. Then this company named Netflix came along, right? Walmart is spread it, all over the globe. They're the biggest retailers of pretty much anything, everything, drive up, stop. But as the future come, I don't know what the future may bring. I don't know. We might start flying drones, like taxi cab drivers and Uber, right? I could see Amazon mess around and building a warehouse in every major city, building a hub and having little drones fly food to people. Anything that can make people lazy will do bad. So that's the only thing I'm kind of scared with Walmart. When you look at Walmart itself, when you really think about Walmart company, how has Walmart really evolved, right? I mean, yeah, they got a website. Everybody got a website. Yeah, they got an app. I mean, everybody got an app, right? But it hasn't really done. But when you look at Amazon, they're trying to figure out how to break into that. They're coming for Walmart. I can tell, and they have a lower overhead. That's what makes it scared, right? I, hey Wesley, Wes, bring me that screwdriver. That little screwdriver that I did the things. Yes. The black one. Yes. It's on the table. Bring it to me. Why you want that? Yeah, I gotta tighten this up real quick. So yeah, so that's why I look at Walmart. But it's a bit more. But I mean, if I had to go 20, 30 years into the future, I don't know. It was a time where Blockbuster was the thing, taxi cabs was the thing, and I just kind of seen how they kind of got swiped. Chipotle, I don't know, man. I'm not, it's good, but I don't think I would be like, oh, this is the future. I don't know. I'm not really sold on Chipotle like that. I'm scared to buy anything that deals with subscriptions. Yeah, stay within your level, your circle of competency. The Fed is doing. Yeah, that's true. The Fed is doing QA easing. The Fed is lowering the interest rates, which is propping up the stock market. That is true. We're in a very low interest rate society. Costco, yeah. Man, I want the stock market crash so bad. I buy so much Costco, it'd be ridiculous. Yeah. But yeah, let me head up on out of here, man. I've been on here too late. I gotta make some phone calls. I told some people I need to call them. I know it's getting late over there on the East Coast. So hey, man, I thank y'all. Yeah, I know, right? But I thank y'all for tuning in, man. Once again, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share. But hit that thumbs up. Thumbs it up, share it, tell your friends if you like the content. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Y'all support us. Check out everything we're doing. Check out us on the podcast. Check out the book series, Wesley Learns. Wesley learns to invest. Wesley learns about credit. Wesley learns about insurance. Y'all check all that out, right? So y'all support us. And stay tuned to us. I'm pretty sure I'll be back on here before 2019 come. Thank y'all. I love each and every one of y'all. Until the next video, podcast, cartoon, or whatever else crazy you see me do around the world. Max B, happy holidays, my man. Wes, tell everybody.
Hey, tomorrow's Christmas.
No, Christmas already passed, boy. Tell everybody bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Tomorrow we're gonna play laser tag.
Oh yeah, we about to go play laser tag too. Go get my laser gun. Okay. Yeah, we about to play laser tag. But anyway, I appreciate that. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Until the next video, podcast, cartoon, or whatever else you see me do crazy around the globe. Peace. Be safe. I'm out. Thank you.